Very good.
Okay.
Great. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us for our Lunch and Learn on IOME. Excited that you're all here and we are recording this. So for those SummitStone folks who couldn't make it today, hopefully they'll be able to access and learn more about IOME on their own time. But I'd like to introduce to you Becky Lorentzen. She is the founder, owner, operator of IOME, which is our new EAP program, Employee Assistance Services program, a local program. And we're super excited to partner with them and provide all of you another option for your own mental health and well-being, and support in your personal life, support in your work life. What I'm super excited about with IOME, lots of different things, but especially those on-site visits. And I know Becky will tell us more about that today, and it sounds like we'll be able to meet a couple of the counselors as well. So I think there's about 45 minutes you have planned, Becky, to kind of talk about IOME so everybody can learn about the different things that are available to you, and then hopefully have some time at the end for questions. And I'll kind of monitor the chat if there are questions and try to answer those as best as I can throughout, or save those to review at the end. So I will turn it over to you, Becky. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Yes, and I have Kelly Otterson here to help with the chat box too, and then Ashley and Sydney, my other team members that are on as well. So thank you a ton. I am also going to be sharing, so I'm going to go over, of course, who we are, what we do, why we do it, talk to you about your benefits at the end. And then I am going to encourage and empower us and start this training orientation off with some topics on self-care and burnout prevention, and just really be able to give you some tangible tools now that you're able to walk with. And then if you need more additional support, I'm going to lay out exactly how you can get that support through our company and your new mental wellness benefit, IOME. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started here. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, let's see here. I want to share this one here. So can everybody see the mental wellness in the workplace slide? Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm so grateful to be able to take this time to get to know you guys and chat with you more about mental wellness in the workplace. It is one of my favorite topics ever, is to be able to offer incredible and preventable mental wellness support to companies very much like SummitStone. So thank you to Jamie for allowing us to be partnered with you guys. A little bit about me before we get into the thick of it. My name is Becky Lorentzen. I am the very proud founder of this company called IOME. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm a trained EMDR therapist, a certified Enneagram coach. If anybody knows their Enneagram, pop them in the comments. I always love talking Enneagram. I am also was able to earn the Female Founder of the Year in 2022. And then on the personal side, because we are all human and we believe very much in sharing, that we have a personal side alongside of our work side. So I am a wife to a handsome cowboy. We live up in Nunn. We have, anybody know where Nunn is? I don't know. Not very many people. Okay, Jamie, good. And we have two daughters, Briar and Bristol, who are 9 and 5. And I used to compete in rodeo in college. So super fun. That's just a little bit about me. I'm a country girl. So that's me. Okay. So moving right along here. Oh goodness, I pushed the wrong button. I want to take a second to introduce our incredible team members that you're going to be seeing throughout the services that we get to provide to you. So first I have Ashley Brond. I'm just going to have her jump on and just say a quick hi, and just, Ash, if you'll take a minute and just explain who your favorite type of client is that you love working with. So that way SummitStone employees know who would be a good fit for you. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Brond. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and thanks, Becky, for the intro. I would say the biggest clientele I really love to work with is just the anxiety, depression, stress management. I mentioned that when I was at both locations at SummitStone last Thursday if you're having a stressful day, come find me. I really want to help out with that. And yeah, just come say hi. So.
Yes, we're so grateful. So Ashley's going to be supporting you guys on Thursdays every other week. Remind me which office is Ashley so I don't butcher it.
It is Longview and Wolf.
Okay, perfect. So she will be available to book with directly there. And then I will introduce Sydney. Sydney is one of our licensed counselors, and she's been with us for a little over a year now, Sid. So go ahead if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Sydney. I'm an LPCC and an NCC. It's funny, some people like working with kids and I prefer working on the complete opposite spectrum. I think I do best with older adults, particularly 50 and up. Before becoming a therapist, I spent almost 10 years working in long-term care nursing. So older folks are kind of where it's at for me. I do a lot of grief support, life transitions, chronic and terminal illnesses. And I am a little all over the place. So every other Tuesday, you can find me at either Center Garcia, which is where I am right now, or Bristlecone. So I'm kind of a moving target, but I'm not that hard to find, I promise.
Yes. So grateful to have Sydney on board too. And then I wanted to take a second to introduce Kelly Otterson, because she is our program supervisor and quality assurance coordinator. So she is helping to oversee this program, any of the support. She supervises all of our therapists on board as well. And so Kel, if you'll just do a quick intro too.
Hi, everyone. Grateful to be here. Yes, my name is Kelly. I am a LPC. The S on the end of my credentials is just for supervisor. So I provide clinical supervision to our staff here, as well as more of that program supervision, making sure everything is HIPAA compliant and all the quality assurance things. So yes, definitely here to support on the back end, or clinically to Ashley and Sid when and as needed. I'm also EMDR trained as well. And just a little bit about me personally. I have a 1 and 3-year-old, so just living mom life right now. And also a very intense University of Georgia football fan. If I have any other people from the Southeast pocket, that's where I'm originally from. So definitely love that college football time, which just ended yesterday, unfortunately. So I'll be ready for summer and fall.
Yes, I love it. That's so awesome. And then you can kind of see some of our other fun facts for Ashley and for Sydney there as well, just because, again, we try to make sure that we are very real and personable and authentic and genuine. So you're going to get that from us. So anyways, moving right along. What I like to do is I usually share a little background about the company and how it came about and my story, because I think we all have a story, and I think it's worth sharing, because I want us to be the first to know that we are therapists, and as you guys are all case managers and therapists and nurses and so many different backgrounds that you guys have, and sometimes we don't have it together, and sometimes we've learned from experiences too. So I want to share it from that light. Really quickly, my background is that I got a scholarship to compete in college down in Oklahoma. I then earned my master's degree in counseling because I didn't know what else to do with a bachelor's in psychology, right? Anybody else? And then I went from my dream job right after college to my breaking point. And sorry to disappoint, but my breaking point is really quite boring. It's just that I was living life on autopilot. I was clocking in, clocking out, taking work stress home, home stress to work. I just really, truly wasn't my best version of myself. And I was causing my family to recognize, I caused them to start to walk on eggshells around me. They weren't sure which version they were going to get of me, and they definitely weren't getting the best version. At that time, I was dealing with postpartum depression and anxiety pretty badly as well. And so I did what anybody would do with a mortgage and student loan debt. I quit. I let my license expire. I said, therapy is not for me. I need to do something completely different. I didn't realize that so much of what I was going through was actually my own mental health and my own self-care. I was pointing fingers at a lot of other things, the job, my boss, the whatever, the economy. I mean, so many other things that I was pointing my fingers at instead of really just taking a moment to start my own healing journey. And so in that time, that's really exactly what I did. I just started to recognize what I needed to do for my own mental health and wellness. Started to see my own therapist, did EMDR, worked through some of the things I was battling. And then Lo and behold, I just started to have this stirring in my heart of mental health and wellness and wanting to do things differently. And I didn't want to just do it in the traditional sense. And so that's what led me to create this company. So it's an IOME instead of an IOU. And our purpose is to create guilt-free self-care. And of course, we believe that the first step to that is our mental health. And we do believe that we can take a preventative approach to mental health and wellness. And that is why I'm so grateful that Jamie and everybody else at SummitStone has welcomed us to be part of your guys' benefits, because I think that this is how we can start to make that impact for the prevention side. So we're a small local company here in the Northern Colorado area. And we are on a mission to disrupt the traditional way we do mental health. So yay, it's 2024, people. Like, let's do things different, right? Super grateful we won NOCO Best of Counseling. That was in 2022. And we have an office here in Fort Collins. We just opened our newest office. It is on Horsetooth and College, and we have a space in Windsor as well. And then, of course, we are on site with you guys too. So I founded this company 5 years ago on this quote here, that you deserve the best because your loved ones deserve the best of you, not what's left of you. And so just kind of letting that sit in for a second, because that was my breaking point, is just recognizing that my loved ones, the people I cared about most, were just getting the leftovers. And so that's really when I recognized I needed to make a shift for my own mental health and self-care. And that's what led me to creating this company for everybody else to be able to have that access to. Okay. So let's take a big, deep cleansing breath here really quick, because I think I would do injustice if I didn't talk about our purpose, right? If I didn't give you guys, because I've been in plenty of benefits orientations and things like that. And I always love to be able to hopefully equip you with something tangible that you can walk away with right now. And so I want to talk about self-care and burnout prevention. And so we're going to spend a few minutes on that. But as we are listening and starting to have these conversations, it's imperative that we really sit with ourselves. So I'm going to ask that you take off your hat, your worker hat, your case manager hat, your therapist, nurse, mom hat, whatever hat you have on, because you got a lot of them on. But I'm going to ask that you take them off and just sit with yourself and take a deep breath and ask yourself, how's my cup, right? We've all heard the saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. So I'm going to ask you, how is it? Feel free to chat it in the comments. I'd love to see your responses. But really think about what that looks like. I've heard everything from my cup is half full, depends on the day, to my cup is leaking, right? My cup is like a fire hose. So much is going in, but it's all immediately coming out. My cup is completely broken and shattered, right? And then I've heard, cup, you have a cup? Where's my cup? I didn't even know I should have a cup, right? And so I've heard everything under the sun, and I've experienced, I think, everything under that sun as well. But I think it's really important that we just ask ourselves, how's your cup? Okay. What does it look like? Because what I want to do is help fill your cup on a consistent and regular basis through our company, our program. So really quick, because again, I think I just have to explain this to anybody that knows, that gets to work with us, is what is the difference? What is self-care anyways, right? It's a big buzzword right now. We see it all over the place, and I think it can have a lot of misinterpretations. I think a lot of people can think, oh, self-care, that must be so nice. What a luxury to go to a spa all day, or to be able to take a vacation to the beach. I mean, yes, those are sure self-care, but it's so much more than that. And so really quickly to break down the difference between self-indulgence and self-care is going to be really important for us. So self-indulgence, for example, is characterized by doing or tending to do exactly what one wants. This is going to lack control, okay? Self-care, on the other hand, is this practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being and happiness. I love that definition of self-care, right? And so to take it a little bit further, we want to recognize self-indulgence as the quick fix, the instant pleasure, I got home from work, so I'm just going to scroll Instagram reels for hours at a time. I only tell on myself. I promise these are all things that I do myself. I'm going to hit snooze on my alarm for 45 minutes before I get up, right? I'm going to binge watch the entire series of Emily in Paris instead of just an episode or two. All of those things in that moment feel good, right? I can justify it all day long, but afterwards I'm going to feel pretty gross. I'm going to feel pretty bad, right? I'm going to feel tired. I'm going to feel headaches, all of that stuff. And it's not going to add value in the long run. Okay. Self-care, on the other hand, are the things that are going to be a little more uncomfortable, a little more challenging, but the things that are going to add so much more value in the long run, right? Going to therapy. It's a little uncomfortable. It is a little challenging. It's not always easy to be vulnerable. The saying no, waking up 30 minutes earlier to have quiet time before the hustle and bustle for the day, right? The choosing to get our steps in or move our body or the healthy meal, whatever that is, instead of what's super easy and convenient, right? All of those things are going to add so much value to us in the long run. Okay. So just recognizing the difference between the two and asking yourself when you're growing this self-care muscle, like what is truly self-care for you? But here's the most important thing. I give you permission to indulge. I indulge. I want my team to indulge. I want my family to indulge. Okay. The difference is, and the most important thing is, as long as that self-care is outweighing that self-indulgence. Okay. So as long as I'm getting more quality self-care than I am the indulgence, I'm doing great, right? By all means. Okay. My cup is still full because that self-care is what's fueling me and what's energizing me to get through all the things. Okay. Versus the self-indulgence is kind of draining in the long run. Cool. Okay. Feel free to ask any questions. I've got awesome team members that can interrupt me if I need to. Okay. So really quick, we're going to shift gears to this whole burnout topic because man, is it a heavy topic. It's a hot topic and it is real. And I want to be able to talk to you guys about simple tools that we can do to be able to prevent that and then give you tangible tools on your own, but then also invite you to utilize our services for additional support too. So I love this quote: burnout is what happens when you try to avoid being human for too long. Okay. We're all human, which means we're imperfect, which means that we have limits, we have boundaries, right? So it's really important to just recognize that, that we don't need to be perfect. Okay. Again, recognizing the difference between stress and burnout here too, because those two terms get interchanged often. And I think it's really important that we recognize the difference between the two and what stages of life or seasons that we're in that are different, because it is wildly different. So really quickly, stress is overengagement, burnout, disengagement. Stress is emotions are overreactive, burnout's blunted. Stress is producing this sense of urgency, hyperactivity, right? Burnout is going to be produces helplessness or even hopelessness. Stress can have a sense of a loss of energy. Burnout is a loss of motivation or ideas. Stress can lead to anxiety, and burnout can lead to detachment and even depression. Stress symptoms are physical and burnout seem to be more emotional. Okay. So with that, we want to give you guys space and room to be able to just recognize and check in with yourselves. Like, how are you? Right. I know a lot of all of us know these things. And I know we know the symptoms and the warning signs and we know what to do. And I think that was the hardest part in my path is I knew what to do, but I couldn't fix it, right? My depression, my postpartum depression or the burnout that I was experiencing. And so I implore you to check in with yourself and ask yourself some of these tougher questions, right? And so recognizing that you're allowed to have a bad day. I'm allowed to have a bad day. My team can have a bad day. My kids, my partner, we can have bad days. It's whether or not those bad days are outweighing those good days, right? That's, I think, when we really need to recognize that change needs to happen. Okay, so there's a few things that I think it's good to be mindful of, and that can exacerbate the burnout, and it can be lifestyle, workplace, or even personality related. So again, going over this fairly quickly, but the lifestyle, right? If we're just overworking and we're not having enough time to socialize and relax, we don't have close relationships and support systems with those relationships, if we're feeling overwhelmed with the responsibilities that we have, if we're not sleeping well enough, right? Just lifestyle can really impact burnout. Workplace, of course, right? If we're feeling powerless or lack of recognition or unrealistic or unclear expectations that maybe that are put onto you, but also probably that you put on yourself as well. Monotonous or unchallenging, a chaotic or high pressure environment, probably safe to say that may be very relevant to what you guys are doing. And then personality related. So my Enneagram peeps out there, this is really imperative for us to understand what our natural personality is like and how that can cause burnout. So are my perfectionists, right? My lovely type ones, the ones that think right or wrong, good or bad, black or white, very, very, nothing is ever good enough. That can be very draining, right? My pessimists out there, right? My type 6s that are constantly worst case scenarioing, that can obviously be very draining and exhausting and can lead to burnout. My lovely 8s, the ones that need to be in control, the ones that are reluctant to delegate. Again, there is it's not sustainable. That's what it is. And then my type 3s, I'm a 3-wing 2, my high achieving, go, hit a goal, won't even celebrate it and move on to the next goal. That can be burnout inducing as well. So you are not alone. If you are feeling any of those things, it is so dang common to be experiencing burnout. But what I want to implore you with is tools to be able to do this and to overcome on your own, but also to be able to utilize our services as well if needed. So we need to recognize, we need to reverse, and we need to build resiliency. So this is my favorite thing to talk about with my clients. I know my team loves to talk about it, is just identifying your warning signs, right? We have physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms that show up to say, alert, alert, I'm on the verge of burnout or stress or anxiety or depression or whatever it may be. But we have warning signs that are indicating we are needing to make some adjustments. So physical symptoms, pretty obvious, right? Who else feels the stress in their backs or their headache or their stomach? I always feel like a pit in my stomach when I'm feeling anxious and stressed. Lowered immunity, getting sick more often, headaches, feeling tired, right? All the time, sleeping way too much or not sleeping at all physical symptoms. These are generally speaking, of course. Emotional symptoms is that sense of failure, self-doubt, feeling helpless or trapped, right? Feeling detached, loss of motivation, an increased cynicism if you're feeling very negative, and decreased satisfaction in the things that you once enjoyed. Behavioral, if you're finding that you're withdrawing from responsibilities, if you're starting to isolate yourself, procrastinating, poor attendance, self-medicating, right? Of course, drugs and alcohol, but even food too, right? If we're turning to any substance to try to fill that void instead. So if you're having any of those, that's when we can whoa, time out, pivot. We need to reverse. We need to use some coping skills. And this is imperative to really know. And again, I'm sure you guys talk about this and I'm sure you're aware of it, but I want to have you really sit with it for yourself. To have self-awareness, understand what your triggers are, understanding what those sources are. There's so many times at the end of the day that I can just be off and think, man, what happened? And I have to play back my whole day and be like, oh yeah, it was this interaction that I had that really upset me that I need to go back and address, right? Otherwise, I'll just kind of put my blinders on and keep going. Take an inventory. What's happening throughout your day? When are you feeling the most excited? When are you feeling the most drained, burnt out, etc.? Identifying your negative triggers. There's a lot of them out there, right? Wintertime, the wind, the weather, you guys, it's tough for this country girl to be cooped up in a house and not be able to go do fun things outside. It's hard. It's definitely a negative trigger for me. Honoring your strengths and your weaknesses, knowing what you're good at and knowing what you're bad at is such a gift, right? to just know like, okay, I am not good at cooking. You guys, I am not good at it. It's not good for my family if I cook. And I just know that that is a weakness of mine. But my strength is to be able to do all the fun things outside. Setting realistic expectations. This is personally my New Year's resolution, realistic expectations. What am I able to do in the seasons that I'm presented with what's going on in my home life, my work, etc. Okay. Self-control, as we know, identifying what you can and cannot control. I cannot control the wind. I can control pulling my hair back and the timing of when I go do my chores or whatever it is. But just understanding what that looks like, right? And controlling what you can and really, truly releasing what you cannot. Doing a time study, recognizing what you did do throughout your day instead of what you plan to do, because the number one excuse I hear for self-care and even mental health is I don't have time to check in. I don't have time to schedule, etc. So then I love challenging my clients to say, okay, let's pull out your planner. What did you do yesterday? Right. And to be honest, and even for me to be able to say, oh yeah, I snoozed for 45 minutes. I could have been up and could have done my journal or my meditation. Examining options, setting boundaries, right? And then self-love, just paying attention to your needs. You know yourself the best. You know what it's like for you in the wintertime. Maybe you love it and you're energized. Great. I know I'm not, so I need to be extra intentional about going into the infrared sauna and making sure I exercise and go outside when the days are nice. Practice empathy and kindness, just the same amount of stuff that you do for your clients, the people that you are serving day to day, your family, to practice that for yourself, to lean on your support systems, right? To respect your mind and your body, and to give yourself grace. So important. Okay, then I would say the fun stuff is the resiliency, is how can we create habits? How can we create a good rhythm of these true self-care modalities, whatever it may be? It's so different for everybody, but how can we do this on a consistent basis to prevent the breaking point, right? The burnout, the stress, whatever that might be. And it's going to be so different for everyone. These are just some very general speaking ones. In IOME, we very much believe in taking a holistic approach and addressing the mind, body, and the soul. And so we break them down here, and it's up to you on what works for you. But generally speaking, mental health, right? The mind is getting professional support, having an unbiased third party to cuss, to cry, to vent, to process, to strategize, to be held accountable with is such a beautiful gift. To journal, to meditate. My favorite activities, my brain download, is to just all the busy thoughts that I have in my head is to put them on a list and then to just choose to do it. And the ones that I need to delegate and the ones that I need to dump, because I don't have to do everything, right? My favorite quote is, you can do anything, but not everything. Okay. Setting boundaries. What are your affirmations? Really challenging your negative thought patterns and replacing them with positives. What are you thinking about others and the power of those thoughts? Right? Our body, the physical health here is so important. Again, I am definitely not an expert, but I do know that it's imperative that we complete that stress cycle, that we release cortisol on a regular basis, that we're moving our body, right? That we're fueling it with good nutrition. Again, not my strength, but I definitely know it's important. That we get into a deep REM cycle sleep. As we know, that REM cycle is what's helping us to process our day-to-day emotions. And if we don't get good REM cycle, then we're not processing those things. It can be a mumbled mess, right? Having intentional check-ins with yourself and your loved ones. Breathing techniques, of course, we know. And then the soul, I categorize this as what's good for the soul, right? When's the last time you had a good belly laugh with a friend, right? Having quality time with people, a sense of togetherness. Hobbies or creative outlets, so important for our wellness. And I think when was this rule created as adults? We can't have fun and can't have hobbies and can't have outlets. So I think it's really important that we lean into them. Delegate music, listening to music, giving back. I think that's such a beautiful way that we can create more self-care as well. Okay. I'm going to skip that one and we're going to jump over to the self-care worksheet. So you guys have access to this. Again, I wanted you to be able to walk away from today's training with at least something tangible that you can do on your own. And you can use one of us for an accountability partner or a strategist in this conversation, but at least you have something to walk away with. So this self-care worksheet, you can download it on our website for free. And it really just is a space for you to be intentional about your self-care. So you're going to name those warning signs we just talked about. What are your specific warning signs? And even before that, you're going to pick an accountability partner that is somebody that you can trust, somebody that trusts you back, somebody that respects you and you respect back, somebody that's going to hold you accountable to it, somebody that's able to encourage, right? And inspire you to be able to practice more guilt-free self-care. And then you're writing your warning signs down, and then that person's writing theirs down. You're answering tough questions like, how is this impacting my overall success? Right? And then what are your true self-care things that you can do? What protects your wellness and happiness, right? And that's going to look different. And it's going to look different from your accountability partner too, and to be okay with that. And so then my partner is able to say, hey, why don't you go for a run? I've got the kids, versus you're being irritable and I don't know what your deal is, right? That's not going to go over well. So this is a much more gentle way to hold each other accountable. And then the most important question is why? Why is this even important? Why are you here in this training or this orientation today? Why is it important to take care of yourself? To have a full cup, right? And to be able to be really honest with yourself and answer that. Okay. And then that's what I would want you to be holding yourself accountable with. Share it with one of the trained supporters, one of the therapists that are offering the on-demand support, so that way they can hold you accountable. And maybe you don't even know where to start. And that is so real. That is definitely when I started this journey, that was me. I had no idea what was self-care. And so use us to be able to help support you in that conversation. Okay, now we get to the good stuff. What is in it for you? So because of our partnership with SummitStone, we are your new mental wellness benefit. We are so dang excited about this, to be able to offer you guys quality, very simple and accessible mental wellness here in Northern Colorado. So what does that mean? You guys got some goodies. So you have access to a free community membership. In this membership, there's a self-care central, a self-care community, and exclusive discounts. The self-care central is self-guided, self-paced. It is where you can access like questions and resources. If you want to get to the coupon codes for the discounts you have access to, crisis resources, of course. There's a 5-day kickstart challenge, like a self-care challenge in there. So just a good plethora of information. The resource library is based on like topic and then podcast or books or whatever that might be. So lots of links and resources in that system, which is awesome. Then we have our self-care community. This is something that is live every month. It's always changing each month, and we bring in our exclusive partners, these experts, to come in and share something on mental health and wellness. It can be everything from different workouts to nutrition support to financial wellness, to of course mental health too, some mind trainings as well. Really anything. And so there may be things that are on our community content that might be relevant to you and that might not, but it's just a fun way to think outside the box for your self-care and to try something different that could be really valuable to you. And then my Enneagram 3s, it's super fun because there is a complete, and so you can go through and actually like check off a box and complete and successfully achieve your self-care for the month, which is fun. And then we do drawings for those that do complete their self-care monthly challenge. Okay, here is another fun part too, is that we have exclusive discounts available for you guys. So we're partnered with about over 50 different local businesses that revolve around self-care and wellness somehow, mind, body, and soul. And then they have discounts. It all just depends on the specific company, but anywhere from 20 to 30% off of your self-care. So these have been personally vetted by myself, or Ashley Brond is our partner coordinator as well. And you could save on your current self-care routine, or you can try something different, right? Massage, acupuncture, house cleaning, shopping, nutritional support. We have an incredible massage therapist in our Windsor location. She does awesome deep tissue, hot stone, and even some really incredible energy work too. So she's awesome too. And you'll have a discount with her as well. Okay. Now, if you are wanting more support, so you are ready to connect with one of our licensed counselors, then we have what's called the on-demand mental wellness support. So you may have, a few of you may have already even met Ashley last week, and then Sydney's there today, and popping in and out of these offices to be able to offer you on-demand mental wellness support. It's more of a coaching, solution focus. It is kind of a fast and furious time, but it's 20 minutes or so of undivided attention to be able to, again, cuss, cry, vent, process, whatever it is that may be going on that day, that month, that week, whatever that might look like. But you'll be able to have unlimited access to Ashley or Sydney, or both, in fact. And so what that looks like is being able to book that appointment with Sydney and come in, kind of chat about the goals, what you're wanting from the support with her, and then be able to book a follow-up appointment the next time that she's there. And then her role is to hold you accountable, to really be in that solution-focused mindset, to be able to give you very tangible tools to your self-care and mental wellness. Okay. That's what that looks like. It's super simple to book. I'll show you the link here in just a minute. Then if you need or want more additional support, because obviously the 20-minute setup may not be the best for everyone, and being on site at your workplace may not be the best for everyone too. So that's totally okay. We have more options for you. So in our additional support, we have the therapy, and that's going to be where you get 6 free sessions. So that's going to be more of the traditional therapy. So you get 50-minute sessions, 6 of those per person, per issue, per year. And so if you find, or maybe you met with Sydney or Ashley first, and they're like, yeah, you might benefit from EMDR, you might benefit from whatever it might be, then you would be able to have access to our in-house therapists for additional support. Again, very simple and accessible to book. We have our location here in Fort Collins and Windsor, and then of course online or virtually as well. But this is going to be your deeper dive into your mental health and wellness goals, overcoming any of those obstacles that are keeping you from your wellness goals as well. And yeah, and then it's more specific. So if there's something in particular or somebody that you're wanting to see, or a topic, then you would be able to find the best fit therapist within our in-house referral system as well. So pretty straightforward on that front, pretty simple and effective. That's what we're all about, is simplicity. So I'm going to leave this on here, but I want to also show you what it looks like to actually click through and book. So I would definitely recommend saving this landing page. This is specific to you guys, the iomenow.com/SummitStone. I think Kelly's going to pop it into the chat box as well, so you can easily get to it, sign up for your membership. I know several of you have already done that. That's awesome. And then you're able to book your session if you'd like to learn more, or just get to know more about your options, or build a relationship for if and when you do need some more support down the road. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can come back over here. Do you guys see the website now, the SummitStone website? Nope, you're still on the main page, the page I was just on. Okay, hang on. Let me see how I can shift that. New share. Okay, now do you see the web page? Yes, perfect. Okay, so this is what the web page looks like. Again, I would recommend saving this as a favorite so you can easily access it. This is where you sign up now. You can use a personal email or a work email, totally up to you. And then I do recommend subscribing. We send out a weekly self-care tip every Sunday night to just kind of set your intention for the week. And then you'll know more about what we're adding for the community and whatnot. You can log in here, and then this is where you actually click to book your session. So here's the 20-minute wellness support and then the 50-minute additional therapy, okay? Breaks down when and where. And then you can simply click this button if you want to book an on-demand with Ashley or Sydney. And you can see, okay, great, I definitely want to work with grief and loss. You can click on that, and then you can see where it's just like, maybe you just want to book the next available in-person session at Garcia House, and then you'd be able to book that session there, right? Or maybe you just want the next available person that can take a phone call. So then you would be able to just book same day, or again, it's alternating every other week, Tuesday, Thursdays, and then you can book ahead of time as well. You are also able to just pop in on those days that they're there. What you'll start to notice them, you'll start to see them, of course, build that relationship with them too. But if you wanted to book ahead of time, that's how that looks and works. Okay. So if you want to then move forward and you're like, I definitely want to have sessions outside the office and I want to have more in depth, then you can come through and look at our therapists that are trained on our team, and you can click through and find the best fit. We're always adding high quality therapists. And so you can click in here, book a session. Again, maybe it's just logistics. You want the next available online session. Well, you can even book same week, right? Maybe you want the next in person, and you want to be able to be at our Windsor office, then you're able to click through, and it seems like you would be a better fit with Brady, or maybe you want to come over here and book with a different therapist. Again, you have options there, and then you just simply click through and book your appointments. So really simple. That's our biggest, I don't know, soapbox when it comes to offering mental wellness services, is we want it to be simple for you guys. Here's some more information on that main page if you want to access your membership, a little more on the back end too, and then frequently asked questions as well that you'll be able to have access to. So with all of that, a lot of information that I just dumped onto you guys. I hope there were some tangible tips that you're able to walk away with and implement right away. But I'm also going to be open for a few questions. If anybody has any questions at all, you can chat them. You can chat them privately to me, and I will answer anonymously. Or if you want to just shout out your questions.
And I'll just say thank you, Becky. That was great. Thanks for that learning. I learned a lot, not just about what is available for our employees, but how we can start working on our self-care right away. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good information.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, and the door is always open, you guys. If you have any questions at all, you have my contact information. And there's a flyer too. I believe Kelly's either posted it or will right now, with our QR code and our contact information. And so you'll be able to reach out to us, whether it's me directly or if it is with Ashley or Sydney, because they're going to be on demand with you guys, or even if it's Kelly or one of the other therapists. We're all here and we're all ready to advocate for your wellness as a company. So we're thrilled to be here. We're so grateful. But again, we're open door, so please come with us with any questions. I'm going to hang on for a few more minutes afterwards, or for now for a few more minutes. So if you guys have any questions, just pop in and ask.
I had a quick question. If we would like to do the private sessions, do we do the 20-minute consult first, or can we book a session right away?
Good question. You can book a session right away. If you know that you want to go that route, then I would say just go ahead and go that route. If anybody wasn't sure, or they're like, I do want to go that route, I'm not sure which is the best therapist or logistically, or I just need to actually book the, get in sooner than later, whatever that may be, then you can always book the 20-minute and have that support person, Ashley or Sydney, be your advocate and help point you in the right direction with the best fit therapist. So then they would act as that consultation to help support you further. But if you know who you want to go with, then you can just go that direction.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, great question, Emily. Thank you. Try to see if I've got any messages here. 20-minute session count towards the 6. No, really good question. So unlimited 20-minute sessions. We don't count that. We don't track that at all. It's just up to you on however often you want to book that, and up to your therapist on however often is recommended to book it. And then your 6 50-minute, your more traditional therapy sessions, that is what will be tracked between you and your therapist. I didn't say, but I definitely want to make sure this is reiterated, is that everything is completely confidential. All we report back to SummitStone is utilization, and we even make sure that it's not identifying utilization. So it's not specific to anything that could be identifying who it is. You guys don't have to use employee IDs to book or anything like that. We have a list and we check eligibility on our end, and then we confirm and we book from there. So really reassuring your guys' confidence in that process. Cool. Any other questions?
Thanks
What
for
if somebody goes beyond their 6 sessions? Are they able to do that?
Yeah, yep, they sure can. So if that's what you would prefer to do, then you guys are able to continue on with your assigned therapist that you've already been working with for those 6 sessions. We offer a deeper discount for the employees at $105 a session. And so you would be able to utilize your HSA or FSA if that's appropriate and applicable. If that's the route you want to go down, or if you'd like to go down a different route, then we would help support you in whatever that different route may be, even if it's outside of IOME. We don't want you guys to feel like you're cornered in utilizing just us. We know for a fact that we're not going to be the best fit for everybody. So we want to advocate in you finding whoever that best fit is. And then it is per 6 sessions per person per issue too. So if you're finding that there is something else that needs to be supported through, then that's a conversation you can have with your therapist to confirm if there's an additional 6 sessions to be had. Good question. I was going to look at frequently asked questions and see if there's anything else that often gets asked. If you're already seeing a therapist, that is beautiful. We encourage that. We do believe that the 20-minute support sessions can complement your work with your therapist internally or externally, because that 20-minute is just so solution focused and it's more of a coaching approach. So maybe that's where you're coming in and just having very tangible goals for your self-care and mental wellness. And then that assigned therapist would be able to support you in congruence with the work that you're doing with your outside therapist as well. Yeah, I think we covered most of the other ones as well. So yeah, I think if that's everything, unless anyone has any more questions, I'm going to hang on, but I may go ahead and shut off the recording.
I think that's perfect. Thank you, Becky. Thanks everybody for participating and asking good questions. And I would ask you too to share this information with your colleagues, your friends, those that you work with who maybe couldn't attend today. Hopefully you learned a lot more. Hopefully you're excited about accessing IOME, and you can share that message with other employees so that we get some utilization and get our employees, focused on, again, their self-care and working to be their best so they can provide their best to their families. I love that, Becky, and also to our clients at SummitStone. So you all do really hard work. It's a stressful job, and we hope that you'll take advantage of this benefit. So thank you, Becky and team.
Thank you. I'll stop the recording and hang on for a few more minutes.
Okay, I will too, in case